Celtic Fans View. How are you all doing this evening? Tell me in the comments how you're doing, and then we'll Hill Baz says Martin, and Michael Ross is in the house. Hail to him, and Lorna is in the house this evening also. Who else is in? Just let this catch up. Let that catch up, and we'll all be fine. Right, we'll just get on with some Celtic news, and there are 14 people online. Helen's in the house. Helen, how are you? I've seen you online for a while. Good evening to you also. Right, I want to talk about Green Machine is in the house, even boys and girls. Elijah is in the house also. Hey, what a cracking name. Right, I want to talk about Bosun Lawal because let's face it, Celtic have had some trouble at the back, and Bosun Lawal, not Lowell. Hey, we need to get that one right. He went down, obviously, to be with the one and only Scott Brown, who was at Fleetwood Town. And unfortunately, Scott didn't see out long at Fleetwood Town after having a fantastic season last year down there. Scott Brown was relieved of his duties. The current boss, Charlie Adam, believe it or not, Charlie Adam's sister's pants are the best. I've got to say, this is the Rebels YouTube channel, Celtic Fans YouTube channel. We'll get back to some of the, back to the, hey Baz, Dave's in the house, Michael Ross is in the house, everyone else, Baz needs a different type of hat, or another baseball cap. Which one you want me to wear tonight? There we go. That one better. Anyway, if you have an injury, the advert is so annoying. If you have an injury, the adverts are so annoying. And the adverts are at the start. YouTube have them all the time. That's how I make the money off the channel. So just, do you know what I mean? I'm not a paid journalist like a lot of the YouTubers out there, and I don't have events that I run. This is how I get paid by adverts, so get over it. Ciao, pal. Bosun Lawal. Bosun Lawal, yes, you're right, Ciao, pal. He's playing in mid. He's playing in defence, but he has been played in midfield for them. But he's having a fantastic season. With Celtic, um, when Celtic are crying out for defenders, he is only 20-year-old, right? But when you look at Bosun Lawal, right, he's went down there, and back in October, he was named in the English Football League Team of the Week. October 27th, he scores his first goal for them. And then Bosun Lawal was then called up to the Ireland under-21 squad. And he's only been getting better and better as a player. I mean, I can understand why Brendan Rodgers put him out to get him some game time and to help Scott Brown out. It's just unfortunate that Scott Brown is no longer at Fleetwood. Fleetwood are getting relegated. I don't care if they're getting relegated. I'm talking about the player and how he's progressed this season and the fact that he's been a standout player for them. I know you're going to say, but it's Fleetwood. Anybody could be a standout in that league. The fact that you've now got Charlie Adams saying that this guy has got a big, big career in front of him. Charlie Adams, you've got to remember, played for Liverpool as well as South Koreans. He had a no bad career and he's played with some cracking players. He did go on, Charlie Adams went on to say, he says, look, he's been tipped. I'm tipping him to make it big at Celtic. He says he's 20-year-old and he is on loan, but unfortunately he's not our player. When Lee Johnson was obviously came in, I'm in charge now, but Lawwell's been one of the consistent performers in my team. He says, you have powerful centre halves that can move into the middle of the park at times, and he has what it takes to make his mark at Celtic Park. Adam says he was the best player on our pitch at the weekend. Unfortunately, he's not our player. Celtic have the player. It's a real privilege to have him. His quality and he's dominated the game. His strength is his power. Something that Celtic have been lacking. Somebody with a bit of power. His power, and he's an unbelievable strike at goal. The longer he's building for us, we have him from now until the end of the season. He will definitely make a difference to our team. He's a top talent, and hopefully with the journey we're on and our support we can give him, he goes back to Celtic next season and he goes and competes for a position, because I believe he has the credentials to be a Celtic player. That is the one and only Charlie Adam talking about Bosun Lawal. And that's why I'm talking about him today. And is it the type of player that Celtic need? Definitely. Definitely. I mean, we go on about it. I've been going on about it for ages in this channel. We need to give youth a chance. Rather than buying in players that are going to be, yes, he does have that unfortunate surname. And if he does play for Celtic and Peter's still there, when we're shouting Lawal, Lawal, get the fuck, it's not for him. Hopefully he'll see the funny side of it, being from Ireland and coming through the system at Celtic. Anyway, let's jump into some of the comments. It's also the first thing, not looking at what might have handed Sefco. Any news in Cameron Carter Vickers? None that I could find today. I don't think we're going to. There's going to be a radio silence at Celtic Park this week. One of the guys that I know that does Celtic media stuff that I talk to is in Spain at the moment on holiday all week. So even he's not even thinking about Celtic this week. He's sitting on the beach today, not far from me. Might go down and see him tomorrow because he flies out on Friday. Anyway, we digress. Baz, hearing that there's 3 major meetings happening at the club this afternoon. Young Desmond was in town, says Martin. Where are you hearing that from, Martin? Tell us in the comments where you're hearing that from. And it won't be the manager leaving. That is just absolute nonsense. It will not be the manager leaving. The manager will not be leaving until the end of the season, at the earliest. So anyone wanting him sacked, you can forget about it. Celtic will not make that move. They will not make that move. CCV's hamstring is gone again. Is there anything come out about that? I don't know. Anyway, Martin says no Scottish players will be given the chance at Celtic. Fans don't allow it. Taylor, Turnbull, Welsh, etc. Now missing Turnbull, goal threat massively. He's Irish, so hopefully maybe he does get a chance then, because the Scottish players aren't getting a chance. But then again, you've got an Irishman that's sitting on the bench. Jeez. Anyway, Pat McGuire says Lawal is fast as an elephant with 2 broken ankles and as good as dead seagull in the air. Well, Pat, I'll listen to guys that are actually training him on the pitch and no Celtic fans online. Anyway, we've done the Bosun lows. There was an article out today actually, and I seen this UEFA document the other day. And for the 22-23 season, last season, Celtic made a pre-tax profit of 40 million. Now we all know how much we're sitting in the bank with. We all know how we're sitting in the bank with, and it's going to be interesting to see the profitability that Celtic have had the first half of this season, considering I wonder if that takes into Jota last season. No, that wouldn't have taken into Jota because that was up to 23. So this season we're going to have the money from Jota. We spent less. We spent less than what we got in as per normal, and we're sitting with a hefty. We're going to be sitting with some amount of money in the bank, and it's frustrating the fans. It is frustrating the fans, and maybe that's why Desmond's son has been in. Anyway, Celtic rank 6th in Europe for clubs that are the most profitable, cash rich. Up the top is Brighton, believe it or not, then Napoli, and then Ajax. Napoli are sitting with £100 million in profit. Jesus. 100 million in profit, eh? Who'd have thought that? What happened to football being all about the fans? Football's all about the fans. Anyway, Celtic will play away to Hearts on the 3rd of March. This one will enrage a lot of my mates. I don't think I've not been on WhatsApp yet because I don't think it's been spoken about. Celtic used to get the full end away to Hearts, as we remember, in the good old days. And they're just one of the number of clubs that think that reducing allocation for Celtic at games is a good thing. It's a good thing for TV. It's a good thing for the atmosphere. It's good for fans. And then they can't fill their stadium. They can't fill the stadium, and they leave the empty seats. And then they moan about a rubbish TV deal, and they wonder why they don't get a decent TV deal here in Scotland. Hearts are giving Celtic 576 tickets, which means that Celtic fans, the average fan that walks through the gate, there'll be about 300 of them, because corporate will get around about 200, Celtic board members and staff and all the rest will take up quite a bit. You'll be lucky if there's 350 fans from the terraces, because the rest will be made up. There will be other fans that will get in from the terraces, because a lot of the guys that have corporate tickets give their fans to just normal guys. I'm not saying that they're not normal guys, but ones that maybe make a bit of noise and sing and dance and at away games. It's a terrible, terrible situation that Hearts have reduced it to this, especially when they've built a hotel at the ground. And it's just Scottish football. You'd be as well chucking away. You'd be as well stopping away fans. You would actually just be as well just saying, "Do you know what? Fuck it, just stop away fans. Just do it. Just make it fucking home games only." That's what they'd be. That's what they'd be as well doing. It's one of those things that I'm glad that COVID happened and Brexit and I fucked off from the UK. I'm not glad that I give Celtic 2 seasons worth of tickets when I didn't get to the games, but I just think away games and that now it's ghost. It is absolutely ghost. The away games, it's just anyway. Tell me what you think in the comments. What's going on with all this ticket nonsense? Well, behind it is teams. Is Anne Budge still at Hearts? I mean, you've got teams like Rangers and you've got teams like Hearts and everybody in Kilmarnock that are reducing allocation to try and make sure that Celtic fans don't intimidate the home team and they think it's better for football. Personally, I don't think it is. I think it's complete nonsense. Football without fans is nothing. Football without full stadiums of fans is just a joke. It is just a joke. I think that when I look at games here in Spain and even games down at the lower end of the table, the stadiums are always full. They're always full, and it's not expensive for tickets. It's not expensive for tickets at all. I mean, you look at Elche, the Elche season ticket when they were in the La Liga was only €325. €325 for a La Liga team season ticket. That's bonkers money. Do you know that's cheap as chips? And Scottish football is just ruining it for fans altogether. They're completely ruining it for fans. It's all, and you've got to be asking when you look at the facilities. Right? I mean, Celtic have just came out today, and Celtic have confirmed that they're spending. They've started the groundworks. I watched the video. Celtic have confirmed that they started the groundworks on the new training centre at Lennoxtown, and it's going to bode well for the future. It's going to bode well for the future. It's going to be one of these amazing facilities for the females and the young team coming through, whilst the main team, first team players still train out at Lennoxtown. It's fine and well spending this money, but when it comes, I think that a lot of the problem that Celtic fans have just now also is the fact that the profit has come from them. The profit has come from the fans. The majority of the profit has come from the fans and the season tickets and buying tickets for Champions League games and all the rest of it. I mean, you can take into the sponsorship and that's made a big chunk of money, but at least half that money has come from paying fans week in, week out. And when you look at the price of food at the ground, I mean, the only good thing that Celtic do ticket wise is the fact that they still have the £50 season ticket for kids up until they're about 16. That's the only good thing that Celtic do when it comes to it. Tamak says he's seen that video 10 minutes ago. Sound Phoretic says fans are getting just as important as the game itself. Yeah. Scottish football is a web-footed hunt affair. 5 out of 12 teams have Hun managers: Levine, Martindale, Warnock, McInnes, Naismith. I don't care about that kind of nonsense. I really don't. I don't care that there's managers that maybe like the Rangers. I don't care. When you look at it from a fan's perspective as an away day experience, I mean, I can only go by my experience over as many years. I mean, from 2013 up until about 2017, I was bus convener and we trained buses all over the country. 10 single deckers to away games. The bus was absolutely fantastic. There's a single decker and a minibus go to home games, and it's just you can't get tickets for away games now. It's just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And it's just ruining Scottish football as far as I'm concerned. And the fact that Celtic are spending all this money, yes, they've got the money in the bank. They do have the money in the bank and they could start that. That's probably why there was meetings today, because the ground has been broken. There were their owner's son was probably over to see what's going ahead with that and how the building works is going. That's all that'll be, because there's big money getting spent. So he's going to be around because the fact that there is big money getting spent, if he was in town today. They're all shouting that we've got 100 million in the bank, not a team on the park. Yes, exactly. That's why fans are shouting. There's no use having all the money in the bank. And anyway, let's get back to some of the comments. And Mike Ross says, Martin, I'm having a laugh. Neil Doncaster, who's ruined the Scottish game, he has. I've said this before. Neil Doncaster has absolutely killed Scottish football. He was brought in to try and make it better, and all that he does is he seems to argue with the SPFL managers, and it's ruining the game. And one of the worst decisions for me was Scottish football spending the money to buy Hampden. They should have sacked that and moved it to Murrayfield. As far as I'm concerned, you can get two away sets of fans. When Celtic played at Murrayfield in the Champions League qualifiers years ago, when Celtic, why did we play there again? We played. It was either Europa. I think I remember Europa qualifiers, because I think Ronnie Dyler was the manager. And when we played Murrayfield, then it was a fantastic game, because you've got two sets of fans that can come in from either side of the railway track. So you're not near each other. It's not like Hampden, where you're having to park in horrible streets. I mean, there's ample parking at Murrayfield for it. They're set up for big events like that. Whereas Hampden, it's still in a housing estate, and you can't get anywhere near it, and it's just a nightmare. Anyway, we're getting all over the place with the videos tonight. Anyway, let's get back to the comments. Stuart Ramsey says, surely if you get a good result when the opposition fans are in your ground, it makes for a better look. It does make for a better look. And having 500 fans, we should only give Hearts 500, by the way. We should give them that back. They want to start this nonsense. We'll give them 500 and we stick them up behind that pillar so that the 500 of them can't see the goal at the other end and they're stuck behind the pillar. If that's the way that they want to go with Scottish football, tit for tat, and then there's only going to be, it's a race to the bottom. It's a race to the bottom for Scottish football, and it's disappointing. It's disappointing. Michael Ross says, I blame the new club Sevco. It's been named from the start. For the way it's pish. Dundas Montgomery says, Celtic won't go as far as Greg Taylor will allow this season. And Hampden is thinking, yep, Murrayfield would have been much better. It would have. Murrayfield would have been much, much better a stadium. Baz, heard about the blue card possibility getting introduced. Yeah, that was last week. The manager was talking about it. Hampden is an embarrassment for our country. It is that. The fact that they had all that money for the Commonwealth Games and they never improved the stadium. They never really improved the facilities and that. The facilities are terrible. The toilets are honking. Anyway, we move on from that. Baz, he's playing in midfield for them. That's all good. Stephen says the 40 million profit, that's 70 million-ish. So we're saying 100 million in the bank. Yes, Martin, when the results come out, the half-term results, Celtic will be sitting within, well, it won't be 100 million because they've spent money and the way that they'll get the money down is because they've started on this building project. So the down payments for that would have been significant. Oh, look, there's Sharpie Staunch has he's waited 5 minutes and I don't know what he put up, but he's been deleted by Tam Mark. Let me just say it. Anyway, that's the HUD sorted. Imagine subscribing to a channel and waiting 5 minutes to then just get deleted. We have the power. We decide. SL17, Sharpie, the rest of the Huns watching. Yep, they are that. They'll love it. They'll love this channel. Fucking Biscuit Tin mentality again. The Kellys are back. Playing cup finals in Spain would be great day out. It would. I tell you, I'm going to go to a game just in the next couple of weeks. Lorna says, Sharpie hasn't thrown my toys at the pram. You're right, it's only 2 points. Did he say we were throwing toys at the pram? No, we're talking about the nonsense that is Scottish football that your team introduced, Sharpie. The fact that your team decided that you can't handle Celtic winning consistently at your ground. And let's face it, you haven't beat the big team in Scotland yet. You haven't beat Celtic. You might be 2 points in front, but you haven't beat Celtic. So just wait till you play us again. You haven't beat Celtic once this season under 2 managers. Remember, 2 managers. You have had 2 attempts, 2 managers, and you haven't beaten Celtic as yet. So away you go. Oh, Jesus. Oh, look, there he is. Love getting a reaction. Hey, right, what we can do here is we can click on this and hide use of a channel. There you go, Sharpie. You won't be seen again. I have the power. Your comments will never be seen again. That's not a reaction. Just remember, you haven't beaten us twice. Twice. That bit hurts, doesn't it? Eh? No, Sharpie has gone no. I'm not leaving him in. And he's gone. His message has been deleted, and he is another one. There's over 200 Huns now in the sin bin. Anyway, and they'll come here to watch us when they haven't beaten us once. 2 managers, and they still haven't managed to beat us. But hey, they're top of the league, and they've still to play us twice. And they're only top by 2 points. And if we win, that's us 4 points clear. Not a problem. Not a problem. No hands being in this chat as long as those pricks are respectful. Yeah, I have no problem with them being in the chat either. But I can't be asked for it tonight. Anyway, let's get back to some of the Celtic news. Obviously, we spoke about Bosun Lawal, who I think should be back at Celtic next season, and I think he'll be a cracking addition to the club. Where he will play about is anyone's idea, and it's where Celtic see him playing that could be another wonder. The fact that Celtic are sitting with such an amount of money in the bank, the papers will be full of good news stuff tomorrow with Celtic, because it will say that Celtic have started work on the new £20 million arena for the younger team and the girls' football, and it will make sure that Celtic stay at Barrafield for many, many moons. There's been lots of players right way back when my dad was young. We watched them all at Barrafield, like in. Anyway, let's talk. Here's something to talk about, right? Because I'm fed up talking about Celtic now. Anyway, oh boy, Sharpie, hi Pam, oh boy, Slaven is in the house. I can't. Slaven, why did I go to your comments, man? Every week, every week, you're the where's Carly? Where's Carly? Where's the Prophet of Doom? She's never been on the channel for a couple of nights. Slaven, you're the new Prophet of Doom. You're the new Prophet of Doom. Come on Sunday, we could be 5 points behind. The pressure is on. Let's hope Hearts can do a double in Glasgow. Can Hearts do that double? Can Hearts win in Glasgow at Ibrox or even get a draw? Like, if they get a draw at the weekend, it's a fantastic result for us. It puts us back in the mix. And if we win, it puts us back top of the table. It's as simple as that. It's going to be nip and tuck. Listen, we'll see what happens. We'll just see what happens. And Kieran says, we don't have the money in the bank for long if we keep handing out 5.5-year deal contracts to players like Kuhn. It's doom and effing doom. It says Tamak. Okay, mate, you finished the for the day. Wow. That's he's just having a conversation to yourself. I love it. Celtic are getting results away from home. Yes, Celtic are getting results away from home, which then comes back to the age-old comment that I've been saying all season, is Celtic players do not like playing at Celtic Park just now. I think the atmosphere from day one of the season, and it's maybe something we need to talk about. Sorry, but I'm in late, says Joe Docherty from Little Ireland and Coatbridge. The away fan base, and I have said it, and I said it for a biased reason, the away fan base for many, many years has been the dominant. And I know guys that have been going to Celtic home and away for 35, 40 years. You know, and this is guys that I've known for a long, long time. Guys that consistently spend money, and guys that have said, look, I'm never going back to Ibrox again after they've done this. Even if it does go back up, I'm never going back there again. They could fucking ram it as far as they're concerned. When it comes to the home games, right at the start of the season, there was a lot of animosity towards the manager, and the home fans One as exuberant as they may have been the season before, when they were singing the Ange Postecoglou song. And this season, they got off to a bad start. We did get off to a bad start, especially when we lose to Kilmarnock. The home fans since then haven't been as noisy. Even during the Glasgow Derby, even during the Champions League games, where you're expecting that atmosphere, and we think back to the atmospheres like when we played Barcelona and we beat Barcelona, the atmosphere, the full night for that full 90 minutes was electric. Those days are gone. That electric atmosphere that was once feared around Europe, where you had players would come out at the start and stand and listen to that Champions League song, and they'd be like, the fucking noise is not there anymore. And teams are not scared of coming to Celtic Park because of that. They know that it only takes a couple of minutes for the team to be on the back foot and the fans turn on them. And Baz, me and Lorna said hello to each other, and you've never seen it. Oh my goodness, man. Uncle Stuart, you're getting blocked. Lorna has the power to block you, Stuart. Oh, fuck, family feuds. Family feuds. Celtic family feuds. They're not Huns, so it won't last long. But yes, let's talk about 5-year contracts. A lot of people are saying 5-year contracts get torn up if they haven't played X amount of games in the first 18 months. No, they don't. No, they don't. And I don't believe that for a minute. 5-year contracts are all about financial play. And it's making sure that am I getting a blue card? Oh my god. Don't say things like that in this channel. Don't say things like that in this fucking channel. Anyway, right. Celtic will win the league. Planes will be flying over 100 flags every lamppost again. No wonder we're 5 foot odd team. We couldn't cross the road now. SL17 supporters need to get behind the team and the manager in the back room. Positive vibes, positive results. Hail, hail, come on, the Celtic faithful through and Foos says SL17. Totally. I totally agree with that. I think that the animosity and the nervousness that comes from fans can gone are the days where Celtic fan base are an extra man at home, unfortunately. And people say it's like, oh, I mean, well, why is it? Why is it? I mean, because it is only. I mean, you could go back to 2019. You could go back to pre-COVID, and it was a bit different. It was a bit different. When the big games, people turned up. So whatever's happened since 2020, maybe people are scared to shout out. I don't know. Anyway, Baz, I was chatting with an ex-Celtic player, Scottish. The abuse he and his family got from our fans is shocking. No, and no Scottish players want to come. That wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me because it comes down to the modern day Scottish Celtic fan having a sense of entitlement. You've got to remember there's just 20 years of pretty much dominance in Scottish football. And that hurts a lot of teams in Scotland. And it's like, well, do you know what? Celtic have ran the club. Now we can all say the board are terrible, the board of that, but the club financially has been run quite astute for many, many years, and we've got to give the board that. The fact that there has been times where Celtic fans maybe wanted to go that bit further and stamp on the throat of teams and make sure that we are the dominant force. Because let's face it, there's a lot of Celtic fans that remember the 90s, the late 80s and the 1990s, and remember what the old Rangers did and how they made sure that they stayed dominant for pretty much 9 years. And they would go out and buy players to make sure that they had that dominance in Scottish football. And that's all Celtic were wanting. That's all Celtic fans were wanting. And there's a younger generation of fans that have grown up with only known Celtic winning, only known Celtic having fantastic managers, and not known the dark old days of Lou Macari's and such like at Celtic Park. And finishing fifth in the league. Fans don't remember those days, and it wasn't a lifetime ago for a lot of us. A lot of us can remember that bad season where Celtic finished fifth, and we never wanted to go back to that. And that's what pushes us forward. And they call us the Celtic Daz. They call us the Celtic Daz, and it's fine. Well, we've got the badges. We wore it. We were standing in the stands those days. And there's a lot of and I laugh because there's a lot of younger Celtic YouTubers that never lived through that time. and they don't get it. They don't get it. They've never seen Celtic be as bad as what that is. They grew up with Martin O'Neill being manager and Henrik Larsson and stuff, and then they grew up with Gordon Strachan and Neil Lennon. And it's all been exciting times for them. It's where some of us older Celtic fans remember the 90s badly. And this is what pushes us forward. This is why, a lot of the older Celtic fans are like, the fucking club's a mess. The club's been run by idiots. The club's an absolute family concern once again. It was never meant to be a family concern. When the man that paid off the debt and stopped us going into liquidation, Fergus, I'll get my Fergus hat on. There we go. We'll get a Fergus hat on. Wait a minute. We're in bonnet mode. We are in bonnet mode. When Fergus came in, and made sure that the club would never go back to the way that it used to be, when Fergus sold shares to the fans, and fans had a chance for the first time in their life, when the exact fan that stood on the terraces for the first time in their life had a chance to buy shares in Celtic. There was hundreds of thousands of people at Celtic Park for the first share issue. I remember going to it, and I remember seeing a young Lawal there at the time, and he promised that we would never go back to those days. We would never be a family concern. There would never be one family or two families having overall control of Celtic. And then yet we look today, and it's a family concern that's running Celtic. Unfortunately, something went weirdly wrong over the last 20 years, because Fergus would never allow this to happen. A lot of older Celtic fans are fed up with the ongoing situation because of that, because of what we went through in the 1990s. And let's face it, yeah, Celtic Park is becoming too fucking woke. It is. People only want to go there because it's like, yeah, I mean, Celtic Park, man. It's the younger generation as well. Do you know what I mean? It's like, for me, fucking take it back to the 80s where we were having a good old fucking box with the away fans. If anyone that might deserve a statue in the Celtic way, it's Fergus. I never thought I'd say that. I never thought I'd say it either, because I can remember, and I was one of those fans that booed Fergus McCann when he unleashed the title flag after winning it. But it was a way of getting at Fergus, because let's face it, for the manager that stopped the 10 to leave Celtic only a couple of days after winning the title was horrendous for us. It was horrendous. And younger fans never, I mean, people can talk about managers coming into Celtic and being amazing. And they can talk about Postecoglou for turning the club around. Postecoglou couldn't lace Wim Janssen's boots. He couldn't lace Wim Janssen's boots. That's a fact. He couldn't lace them on the park, and he definitely couldn't lace Wim Janssen's boots off the park either. Wim Janssen should be a bigger. There should be a statue of him outside. He should be more recognised by the modern day fan than any Ange Postecoglou, and for what he's done over the last couple of years, because he's just a journeyman. He was just a journeyman. You've got to remember that Wim Janssen fell out with Fergus McCann and decided to leave Celtic because he wasn't going to get the money that he thought would be needed to take the club forward, which is unfortunate. And then we get left with the dream team. The dream team. The dream team. I'm talking shite. How am I talking shite? You're talking shite. I'm just bored tonight, mate. The dream team. The dream team of, yes, Dalglish and Barnes. Dalglish and Barnes. He couldn't lace Tommy Burns' boots. That's true. Wim the Tim says Celtic Park needs to be a hostile battle zone instead of a holiday resort. It is now. Unfortunately, Jim, that's the modern day fan. That's the modern day fan. The fact that you have organisations and companies that can go out and buy 200 to 300 Celtic tickets and then sell them as packages and tour packages, and it is just the way it is. Dr. Joe Venglos, Dr. Joe Venglos, oh, Dr. Joe, and what was it? Dr. Joe Venglos used to say, continuity, continuity. That's what he was. Continuity. The ML scouting system, playground, South America, his poster boy signing, Bernabe says it all. Yes. Lorna Gallagher, Baz, makes you look like a wee old geezer. Makes me look like my damn changing it. The hat is getting changed. Makes me look like my old man. Thank God he's not on the night, because we'll remember what happened the last time he came on. So all his fence was blown down. Anyway, I've just done a belter of a shite there. Says street shitter. He is an old geezer. I am. I'm not. I'm still young. Still young. Let me just change that camera. That camera's moved. Just to move that. I'll go. I'll get it all back into play there. There we go. We're better. Right, let's get back to something Celtic. The funniest thing is, you had a decade of dominance. You're still behind the famous. I've waited 5 minutes to say that. Oh my goodness me. Oh dear God. Hide user on this channel. I've waited 5 minutes to say that. He's been sitting here in a Pokeball wank. He's been sitting having a Pokeball. Right, Tom's deleted his message, and I'll just make sure that he can't. Modest Baz. Imagine waiting 5 minutes. It doesn't help me. We're getting old. I know. Right, listen, 50 is not old. 50 is not old. Right. Hide user from channel. Imagine subscribing to the channel and then waiting 5 minutes. This user's messages will be hidden. It is done. Over the hill Baz. Wait a minute. What's this? Wait, just get this right. Right, anyway. Baz, show your baldy bits. You're acting like a Celtic fan. Show you my back if you want. Lorna Garnica, Tim, you're a comedian. Yep, is that Baz? Brilliant podcast tonight, Baz. Thanks again. Hail, says Jaya Lynn. We're not going just yet, are we? Only 37 minutes in. And far away. Tim, you're a comedian tonight. Who's Tim? Tim Skilper. Tim Skilper. Imagine going onto YouTube and then signing up with a fake email address just to call yourself Tim Skilper. To then sign up to a Celtic channel, to wait 5 minutes, to get to then post and then get put into the ether of the zone where Rangers fans can never come out from again, with many that have came and gone in the past. Oh my goodness, what are we even talking about? Right, let's get to see if there's any Celtics. Celtic inside the new training centre. Work begins on the new state-of-the-art facility. I told you, this is what Celtic do. They go into radio silence for a couple of days when the heat is on. The heat is on. When the heat is on, Celtic go into radio silence, and then they wait and they go, right, there's a good news story out there. And then they show the tractors and everything going onto the land, and then they start scraping the grass and pile driving the ground, etc. And all the builders out there will be going, I wish I was on that site. That'd be a cracking job. Um, and then the work starts on Barrowfield. Work starts in Barrowfield. And it'll be interesting to see the headlines tomorrow if they go with a good news story, because it's all about changing the agenda. Celtic trying to take control of the narrative. The press have been pretty negative towards Celtic, and so have the fans. This is Celtic turning the corner to try and change the narrative with the good news stories. The good news stories of 20 million getting spent on a brand new to Celtic supporter Baz Green. A brand fucking just totally thrown me there. When you look at it, it is all about changing the narrative that Celtic have been ball bag scalper, me. Like, God, Jesus, the neglected feeling most of the time. They're not giving Graves. I'm just reading some of the comments. What do you go to? Do you wear a bed when I go to hat? When I go to bed, I wear a hat. Nah. And I wear sunglasses every time when I'm out when I'm here. Folk moan about that as well. Why do you wear sunglasses all the time? It's fucking 20 degrees and the sun's blaring. Do you know what I mean? Got to watch your eyes. Anyway, the new facilities are all the bullshit. Wait till the work for the work delay announcement. Nah, they've waited until the season's passed. Probably used to those 5 minute break into his sister's bedroom. Oh, that's not even right. You're rambling on the on the night. Was very funny. I think sometimes as Celtic fans, it's a lot of the Celtic podcasts out there, right? I've got a lot of. I'll be honest, I don't watch a lot of Celtic podcasts. I never watch a lot of YouTube. To be fair, I'm too busy creating content for other projects that I've got going that make me money. And it's funny because we can get down a rabbit hole when you can go into real negativity just talking about the football. And we need to remember the good things about Celtic. And for me, one of the good things about Celtic is the people that I've met over my time as being a fan and even doing this. You know what I mean? All the names that come up. That's important. I wouldn't have that without Celtic. Do you know, you wouldn't have any of that. I've got mates all around Scotland that I've met through the football. Do you know what I mean? 27 degrees here, Baz, says Richard Smith. Where are you? It was only 20 degrees here today. Tomorrow is going to be 20. No, it must have been hotter than that because tomorrow it's going to be 26 degrees. Woohoo! Taps off, but I've got work to do. Hairnet, Baz, Lawal, get a hairnet. A hairnet? What for? Any hair? I shave my head. I weight shave my head every day. It should have been called Larry, load midfield, and three up front. Keep it tight at the back. Tamac says, can't see the mail now. And then the rambling tonight. No more room for errors anymore. We want to win the league. This is true. Tenerife, it's always warm at Tenerife. My niece is in Tenerife just now, also, where my old man used to stay. It's 90 degrees here. I'm standing in the corner. Oh, Jesus, it's 90 degrees here. Oh my god. Did you know that Peter Lawal has been involved since the club since 1990? Lanky, yes, I did, and I've mentioned that many, many times. It was the Whites and Kellys that made him, he was a junior accountant at Celtic. Hence the reason I said at the beginning of the video that I met Peter Lawal the first time at one of the share issues at Celtic Park. It was a long, long time ago. Sure, Ramsey saying it's been fishing down all day here. I bet you're jealous. Yes, Stuart, I am a bit because this part of Spain is in drought for the third year running. And it's anyway. What's the prediction for the weekend? Liam, that's for tomorrow night's video. We'll talk about that then because I've not even got time to think about the team. And it's only Wednesday, so we need something to talk about tomorrow night. We'll talk about it's 33 degrees at Hampden. 33 degrees. Kieran says 3-5-2, no fucking point. Other than three centre backs cross the halfway line. I think when you play a three at the back, they tend not to cross the halfway line as much because if you remember the way, if you're old enough, if you remember the way that Martin O'Neill's team played, you very rarely got Bobo Baldi and Yusuf Haran crossing the halfway line. They knew that their job was defenders and it was defend at all costs. They would only come up for lights of corners and maybe if we had a free kick on the edge of the box. If you play a 3-5-2, your defenders generally stay at the back more. Where can you go to watch the AGM? Baz? It's not an AGM, it's only half-term results. Celtic will make a statement. They'll put a statement out to the stock exchange and it's just basically saying how the club is doing. So they'll make it to the stock exchange, the papers and all the bloggers, all the Celtic bloggers will pick it up when it comes. The Celtic AGM, that is usually around about October time, is it not? September, October, November, I can't remember. I don't know if predicted anything yet. It always ends in tears, says Stuart. Kieran says, remember big Ramon Varga? Yes, what a player he was. Ramon Varga, that's going back. He was a fantastic player. And I was going to say, the likes of Ramon Varga, Yusuf Haran, I could see Bosun Lawal turning into that type of player. a big beastie a guy. Will he be a Bobo Baldi? Can Bosun Lawal turn into a Bobo Baldi type player for us? You never know. Or will he get put in the holding midfield position? I think Celtic will probably play him at the back. Predictions for the weekend is Fire Stick getting snapped, carry out for the weekend, still in the fridge come Monday night. Not a chance. I predict a riot if we don't win this weekend. Michael Ross I predict more than if we drop any points at the weekend, it'll be the Saturday show will be completely full of zombies. And anyway, that's the problem. Some player ain't got tactical awareness. As you've got a lot of players that don't have tactical awareness due to their youth, and you've got to say, I think some of these youth players that have came into Celtic have not played at a fantastic level, and we're expecting them. I think Bosun will be like Christopher Ayer. Well, that's not a bad player to be, because Christopher Ayer was no bad for us. I mean, a lot of people didn't like him, but I think if Bosun and Lawwell can come through the system, and if he can get anywhere near that first team, because you've got to remember the ones that are in and around the first team at the moment won't be there forever. So I reckon he's got a bit of season to get in and around the first team and then get brought in gently, as they said. We're going to win on Sunday. I feel like my old bone says Lorna. Ian McIntosh says we're in Stralavs Varga. Stralavs Varga. There we go. Dan says if we don't win it, like stop this. I will not shut up on this chat like we didn't sign a left back. Oh, geez, I've gave up smoking. Celtic are not helping me. It's not. Bosun's about 6'1". Varga was closer to 6'5". Same way I was 6'4", 6'3". Is Bosun Lowell only 6'1"? Ah, well, anyway. I owe someone a right. We owe someone a right pumping home. But Sunday, yes, if we drop any points at the weekend, I'll be throwing a big jobby. Oh my god. David doing that. Liam, welcome to the channel, Liam. It says, doesn't feel the same watching Celtic now as it did 20 years ago. Yes, Liam, it definitely doesn't. We need passionate homegrown talent who have great pride and passion for this famous club. Liam, you've welcome to the channel. I'm not sure it was your first comment, but I think you're absolutely right with that. Buying in prospect players and having the inability to keep our own youth players, we should be shown from the age of around about 17, 18, we should be shown the players a pathway on how they should progress and how they need to progress as a player to get them into the first team. And there has to be a consistent conveyor belt of players coming from the first team. That's how big clubs do it. I mean, you look at I've deleted it. You look at those figures coming out of Ajax. Ajax were renowned for bringing in players through their youth system. Well, we've got a player. If the player isn't then good enough, they gets put out. We've got one of their players that came through the youth system at Ajax, and it's Nico Kuhn. When you look at it, Celtic need to be doing more of that, and it's Celtics. It doesn't feel the same watching Celtic as 20 years ago. You know, you can bring in players that don't have an affiliation to the club. Well, but you could say that about Martin O'Neill's team. You only really had Neil Lennon that was brought in as the Celtic man. You know, it was only Neil Lennon that was the Celtic man. The rest of them weren't Celtic men. You know, John Hart's not everybody. Chris Sutton wasn't Celtic man. Stilian Petrov wasn't a Celtic man. Didi Agat wasn't a Celtic man. He was at fucking Rafe Rovers at one point, was he not? But when you look at it, shut your tadger, mind the gap in points and trophies, quick block me, ha 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 ha. There's another one that's subscribed just to get blocked. And that is all he's got to say. That's all he's got to say. All that waiting, sitting around, waiting for 5 minutes. Oh, I can't wait to talk to Baz. Oh, oh man, I'm gonna get up Baz at pure man. All right, I'm just gonna tell that baldy specky bum that he's fucking just mind the gap, you baldy specky bum. Yeah. Oh, wait for wank. Fuck me. That is the zombies. Like honestly, it is. Yeah. Right. Baz, favourite away ground in Scotland, mine's in Staten Park. The Scottish Cup in the 90s. My favourite ground, my favourite ground would have to be Ross County away for the trip. Because the bus trip was always a belter. You'd always leave dead early. And it was great when we used to play later on in the afternoon. It was absolutely brilliant when we used to play later on in the afternoon because you could go up and you could have a couple of pints. And this nonsense that Police Scotland have changed the times for away games at 12 o'clock. Get back to a 3 o'clock kickoff so buses could leave at 6:30 in the morning, get up there, get a swally, get something to eat, get a rebel day or whatever, you know, and it's it's got that's one of the best away grounds that I've been to. With Celtic, not in the Scottish League, would probably be Malmo. That was a fantastic little stadium. That, but then Atletico Madrid Stadium, that was a stadium. But the Scottish League, I don't know. I don't really rate a lot of the Scottish stadiums. They're crap. Anyway, we've managed to get to 51 minutes this evening. Let's get back to some of the comments after all the laughing. Under pressure goes backwards. How much is the team missing Turnbull for the goal threat he carries? He only scored goals at the beginning of the season. He only scored goals at the beginning of the season. Liam Boy says the one thing I would say is we made 5 subs against Kelly and it made us worse. We need to try and get back to playing as a team. Sell Calmac. Come on, who said that? Or get drunk and miss the game. Yes, get drunk and miss the game. I can remember one game I actually fell asleep in Celtic Park at half time. I'd been up all night. And nobody gave me any Charlie at half time, so I crashed out. That was back in the day, back in the old days. Oh dear. Anyway, I don't think Calmat is a bad player. I don't think he's Celtic captain. Says Paul Imre. My favourite ground was Cowboy Park. That's an old one. Jesus. Um, my best away ground I've been to is Dortmund. Big European teams just hoover up all the best young talent. Yep, they do. There have been top of the league for 4 days. Mind the gap. Aye, okay. Mind the gap. I've seen bigger gaps in folks' teeth. Oh wait, they were all Huns as well. Anyway, right. The results are shit though. Hail hail for Carden Den. It's freezing. It's freezing out the other night. Oh man, feel sorry for you. Carden Den's a cracking little town, cracking little village. A lot of new houses been built there as well. Sam McIntosh says we don't have the Bruni in the team to kick their ass. We don't have a Bruni in the team. Yeah, that's true. That is true. Carmack will be back in form soon. I hope so. Liam Boy says, I think the fans need to realise that the board are too tight. We have a team there to win the league and more. Can you remember a time where Celtic had about 3 different teams that they could put out? And each one of the teams could have played first team football. We don't have that now. You look at the Celtic squad and you're like, that's the first team squad. When you look at, there used to be a time at Celtic where you had the first team squad, and then the players that couldn't get into the team, you're like that they would walk into any other team. They would walk in. We don't have that now. We don't have that now. Morton, Little Dublin ends. There you go. My favourite ground was Globe Park, Brechin. Oh, I remember the away game at Brechin in what year was that? 2012. Yeah, that was Arbroath. Arbroath 2012. Arbroath 2012. That was an away year. That was an away day, away night. That was a away night and a half. I ended up staying in Arbroath. Anyway, my favourite. Tarmac says 4 days top of the league and they're planning destruction of George Square in the city centre. Yes, this is true. And that is it. We're done for the evening. But for now, Calmark will watch Scales and Welsh pass across the back line. And that's why I want a young Bosun Lawal brought in, because I think he's a player that will rather go forward than pass back the way. Anyway, thank you to everyone that has been on the video tonight. The subscriber count has went up. A lot of that will go down once the Huns realise that they can't come onto the channel. And maybe we should just go into the ban section and just unleash the beasts. Unleash the beasts and see how many come back to comment on the channel, just for shits and giggles. I might do that towards the end of the season if we are winning. And just unleash the whole lot, because you can just go in and let everyone back in onto the channel. Anyway, on that note, you know what's coming. Have a fantastic evening. Remember the Tannadice terraces, very steep. Yes, they were. 12 weeks to save the benches. 12 weeks to save the benches. And Pam, you're going to get the last word of the evening. Take care, everyone. And on that note, have a fantastic day, evening, Celtic fans all around.